Science Wednesday, right? uh, I'm sleeping more and better, and body's cleaning out better, but I'm exhausted. But I think that just has a lot to do with just surviving. I'm coming to terms with things. Um, when people uh, want the Messiah dead to compete and fight over money, that's really bad. That's what Dave Rockefeller said. They'll gladly fight and kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and your Jesus die, but Parsons. And you don't think it's true. You think, no, that's not true. No, they love Jesus. No, they say they love Jesus because he paid for their fighting over money. Like, no, he didn't do that. He said, forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Y'all said no. And then he was crucified. And he was the light and the way to his commands, forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Y'all said no. And then he's crucified, and you said, oh, well, he all paid for our sins. It's like, no, you can't do that. It's wrong to acquit the guilty and deny justice to the innocent, right? And so if people are voting for democracy and the republic that crucified Jesus Christ, right, instead of standing up for the Lord's Prayer, then the guilty cannot be acquitted, right, to deny justice to the innocent. So the innocent can be one guy, right? You understand? And I don't think that's lost on the scientific community. I think the scientific community looks at these patterns and then goes, okay, we have this unlimited amount of leeway to mass murder because these people are all guilty, and they'll murder the innocent to remain guilty. And that's not how things work. And but the scientific community obviously is insane because there's no global unity movement to it. There's no cohesion to it. They don't have a relationship globally. They're fighting because of their selfishness, and so it's really horrid. And you look at these folks and you're like, God, they're crazy, and they are. And it's depressing, but you can't let it kill you physically, because when you're a good person and you're given life by the glory of the God, when you allow the devil and Satan to kill you with their selfishness, okay, you're taking away a kind, caring person from a child that needs that, and giving them these selfish people that pretend to be kind and caring with their money, their drugs, and their technology. They had this thing on the news tonight about these people using cameras to stop forest fires. It's like, what about stopping irrational, aggressive economic activity and then doing prescribed burns like they do in Cochise County? On military bases. Well, we don't have the money. We have the money to do that. We need less cameras and more time in the tonic of nature. We need less cameras watching to make sure because that's not going to keep us safe. You're not going to do things in accordance to how to manage nature properly. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, face, stop the cars, bars, and wars, and the cameras. The cameras watching everything, keep us safe. The camera's going to keep us safe. So a person with money and a camera is going to keep us safe from other people with money and a camera. Right? No wonder Pac-Man Jones always be drunk and shit. I said, watch those Hodge brothers. Right? And the one kid said, hey, twins, I think. He said, no, Daddy, tore up he got drunk, and if one thing was out of place, he tore up the whole house. Yeah, I've known people like that. And the other brother, nah, he didn't do that. It's because I think the one brother got out of his way and the other guy would try to protect people from dad being drunk. And that's how they remember it differently. He'd tear up the house because he was drunk. You got out of his way because you didn't want to deal with him. I got into his way because I didn't want him to abuse people and tear everything up. So they both remember it differently, but they're in the same house. So one brother got up and, okay, he drunk. I got to make sure he don't tear up the house and hurt mom. The other brother, just get the hell out of his way and you won't get hurt. And it's like, yeah, but shit. And the other brother's like, maybe if you stayed out of his way, he wouldn't get mad at you and throw the. Yeah, that's quite a gamble with a mean ass, aggressive, abusive drunk. That's a real pain in the ass. Mean drunks suck. But the one guy, I believe the one dude, he said, I'm a nice drunk. I'm a little bit, because, my brother-in-law, Jerry, okay, he is a friendly drunk, big guy, bodybuilder and all that. He was your best buddy, going to take you to Disneyland to go next day. When are we going to go to Disneyland? What did you say that? Oh, shit, he was drunk. Your best friend, they're going to take you to Disneyland, all this stuff. Like, all right, cool. The next day, when are we going to Disneyland? What were you talking about? Oh, fuck, he was drunk, right? So people that are drunk say shit that, knock, 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 makes a man equivocator, makes him say, he'll, makes him think he can do the deed, but he can't deliver and stuff, so you definitely do not want to get drunk. Do not drink spirits, the crazy juice. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. They call it spirits because people saw it as being possessed by evil spirits with some people. And with some people, they're like Uncle Waldo on the Aristocats, right? So it depends on how they affect you. There's a lot of evil in your line. They say it makes you evil. If there's not, you're jovial and you're fuzzy wig and all stuff. And that's wrong. Killing the brain cells to survive hell is wrong. Okay, so don't pickle yourself to survive this hell. Stand up for what is right and then love and live. I had a lot of work to do. I'm exhausted, but what I figured this next couple of days here was I didn't eat supper tonight. I wasn't real hungry. I figured what I'm going to do is just like do a little fasting here the next couple of weeks because I'm cleaning out and I'm sleeping. And then, once we get all this stuff done and then just look at doing some things differently, feel some things differently. I'm going to feel my way through this. I don't have any plans. I gotta sound like a Gwen Dickey. I ain't got no plans, oh no. I'm going down because you ain't around. Anybody else like that song? Sleep don't come easy. It's a good tune. No one else? Is there anyone else with good taste out there? Rocky said that she felt that way about us. And I was like, get out of here. She used to freak me out because she was very strong. She had a strong to her, but she couldn't stand up to the bigotry of her family, but she wanted to. And then she couldn't carry through with it. And then she would say stuff like that and it's like, you're so goddamn mean. There ain't no way. And then, like I told her, when I dated her and then I dated Law, when Law got mean, it was like, God damn, she thought she was the sweetest thing on earth. And then she got mean to you and it's like, God damn, that's mean. I thought she was the sweetest girl. I thought she loved me more than anything. And then she just told me I was a loser and I was pathetic. And Rocky never did that. No, Rocky would just get mean about the racist stuff and then feel bad because we couldn't be together and then tell me she was depressed. I was like, what do you mean? Girl, you crazy. It was really hard. No, all my relationships had those extreme things. Except Miriam used to do that too. She used to try to make herself into a victim so I could rescue her from all the dumbasses. And because she drove me crazy at that. The only one that didn't drive me crazy was, the one I talk about a lot is Miss Gomez. Well, because she was protecting her son from the baby daddy. And she wanted to be with me so her son could have that example, that protection, that kindness. And he came and threatened me, and then I told him, do it, motherfucker. Froggy jump. He went back and lied to her and told her, that he said he'd kill me, and I got scared and ran away, which I didn't. And then by the time she came back from that, a lot of people, why didn't you go to where she worked? Why didn't you do all that stuff? I didn't know where, I didn't want to bother her at her job. I didn't know where she lived. She gave me the phone number to her boss's house. She, it was, and the boss and them kind of took care of her and stuff. They were rich people. And so, I thought, with the cops and all that stuff. And, I didn't want to come in and try to be a hero and get her hurt. Then finally, when I was dating Law, Edna came back, and she finally had enough of him and left. He said, "What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?" She said, "I'm going to call Earl." I said, "I told you." He turned white and left, got like a ghost and got scared. And she was like, when I came to pick, what'd you say to him? I said, if you're going to bring a gun to kill me, you better know how to do it, or I'll use it to kill you. That's what I told him. That little fight, he lied to her to manipulate her, and that kept us apart. But that's been my whole life. That's a capsule of, and a lot of people look back at it as like, yeah, it's life's eternal and grace is infinite. And, I have prayers with Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, and, Jesus, Dad didn't want to hear it today, but Jesus told me, by far yours is the worst. Even to John. But they killed John's kids and his wives and stuff. And it's like, Earl, it's one thing if they kill your wife and your children because they want to be Christians with you or Muslims with you, But it's another thing if they take your kids and your wife and turn them into Romans and then mock you with it and make fun of you with it. And then you're never going to win, And every time you had somebody that would try to, then they would kill them. So they wouldn't let you be with the people. That's why I wasn't so insistent on it. And then when I did, I had a good friend in Punchy's sister, which I totally screwed up that date. And I wondered why. A lot of times, it's not a regret. I've said regrets, but it's not really a regret. Only liars and cowards have regrets. And I shouldn't say I regret that. But I look back on it and go, oh. And then I understand with the position I'm in today, with the horrible selfishness of the selfish people that are, it's all about me, pay attention to me, my solution, my this, my that, my cleats, my cause, my, it's like, just forgive, debt, and trespass, live one, eternal, faithful peace. And then right will be done and things will take care of themselves because we're doing things right. We won't need all these technological invention solutions to problems that are caused by invention. When you have what's perceived as an invention to make life better, then you Solomon it. You share caregivers according to need, build to last. You act like Muhammad's Mecca and Solomon's, David's and Solomon's Israel. You don't act like these people. And these people are insane, and I can't tell you who, when, what, where, when, where, how we fix this technology and when it happens. I can't tell you that. I wish I could. It made me feel like, you're going to die this year. I was out there in the barn tonight. I was like, I feel tired and horrible. It's like, just hang in there. Do not give them, Suzuki's big thing is do not give them the opportunity. Okay. You were right in stepping away from, you don't have people poison you and then go to you and say, hey, give me the anecdote and lots of money. I feel like I want to, praise you for trying to kill me, and then me saying, oh, I was wrong. No, I was never wrong. I was never a wrong person, never a selfish person, never an aggressive, disgusting person. I got put in some of the most difficult situations in the history of the world because selfish people wanted to make me look bad to make themselves look good. And we still have those selfish people every day doing selfish things. And the apple don't fall far from the tree. It's like that Talarico commercial and stuff. I'll make sure that billionaires do this. It's like he's one guy in Congress. He's saying, telling all these people what he's going to do. You're going to go there and clean up all the billionaires and make sure that the billionaires don't own Congress. Okay. Yeah, what do you give him, like 2 days and shit? Okay, Billy Jack. Yeah. Mr. Smith gonna go to Washington and filibuster till you pass out, or you gonna take your big Puka Harvey with you? Big Harvey with you to Washington? Clean up the mess? Here comes Peter Cottontail. Dude, don't be talking to him. It's static. Don't start. No, won't be none. No. You can't make organized criminals answer to you when they got more money to, manipulate your ass than you got money to manipulate their ass. You know what I'm saying? If you understand government, this is crazy. It'd be like, this is crazy. You talking all that bullshit? You was drunk as the Hodge boys' daddy and shit. And Pac-Man Joe put together, right? So don't be drunk. Don't drink booze. Yeah. Do not do alcohol. And then like LT on the coach says tackle that. Do not smoke crack, right? No, it's fentanyl, right? They had this video on there where they said a sheriff took fentanyl and died. I'm like, who would fucking show that on TV? Or, who would show that to people? Why would you show that to people? I mean, I went to go watch the White and Black Barbecue. The one young kid, I genuinely liked him. He gave the highest score to the one lady. He said, if she didn't use the King's Hawaiian roll and made her own rolls, I'd give her a 10. Okay. But she had the store-bought thing on that, And I gave her a 10. And the one guy I lost, the one kid that was the sweetest and the nicest that gave out the highest scores, he was the one that, quote, lost. Okay. He had the lowest score, but he was the most genuine and the most sincere and the most complimentary to other people's cooking. So he was, yeah, he was a real sweetheart. He's a real neat kid. He liked barbecue. You could tell him that, oh, this is great. This lady's potato salad reminded me when I was, when I was a little kid, and it was cute. But yeah, so he was a total sweetheart. When he appreciated the way people made food and put love into food, he let it know. And so I was watching. I was like, I like him. Yeah, I like him. He's a neat kid. It's nice to see people that appreciate what people put into food, and then and are kind and honest about it. Because it's funny. Yeah. But yeah, it makes you wonder if I didn't hear when they tried his. Makes me wonder if his was probably better than the other three wanted to admit. It's just they weren't as kind as he was, and weren't as because he got like 12.5. The other white guy got 17.5, and the two black folks, the guy got 20.5 and she got 21, and so on the scores, is out of 1 to 10, And so it's crazy, but you could tell that the one guy, the first black guy, when he was pretty sure it was a white folk, his scores were low, like 4. This isn't that good. It's not that good. And the other kid was like, no, this is pretty good. He gave out more of the highest scores, the one that got the lowest score. Yeah. So you can tell he wasn't in it to win it. He was in it to appreciate. And that's why it's weird. So it's like, you should have other people grade, the food. They probably might have gotten really different scores. Yeah. Maybe the guy that was in it to appreciate it, to win it, would have got a much higher score. And some of the other people that were in it to win it might not have gotten as high scores because people have been more critical on them because, well, yeah, I did that. But it's food. I like to cook. It's fun, and it feels good. But it all depends on your palate and your taste and what you like. And not everybody likes what you like, and you just got to understand that. So it's like, yeah, you can't expect other people not everybody has good enough taste like Nancy Wilson and Ella Fitzgerald and Tommy Edwards. That's hard. I know that is really hard to understand. Okay. Many a tear has to fall, but it's all in the game. Do 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 do. All in the wonderful game that we know as love. You have words with him, and your future's looking dim. But these things your hearts can rise above. People, you don't like that, dude? Oh, come on, man. Once in a while he won't call, but it's all in the game. Talk to her, please, Mr. Sun. I can only give you love that lasts forever. If you don't like that guy, it's like, man, I'm sorry you have bad taste in barbecue and music. Should I? uh, sigh when I sigh. That's the way with love, right? Dream when I dream. I do expect things to get better. I do expect people to stand up for the Lord's Prayer. I do expect people to love their children enough to give them the perfection of the Messiah, the living word. I don't expect to be, they'll gladly kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and your Jesus die, Parsons. I expect good things out of people because I have faith in God and I believe in the Spirit. Like I told Miss Lopez on Facebook and stuff all the time, it's not your body that I'm thinking about. It's the nature of the Spirit that I'm concerned with, baby girl. Nobody in their right mind can forget how much Earl loves babies, even when they're 21. They're not 21. What's it? Even 20. Oh, shit. Your Poncho's birthday was Sunday. 20. Even when they're 20. No, it's not 20. No. Kate's 2007. Those kids are 2008. So 18. Okay, 18. They turned 18. Is that right? Am I right? So it's 18. I had the years backwards. I had them before Kate. I think they're born. Kate was born May 27th, 2007. And I think Cuckoo for Coconuts were born February 22nd, 2008. I think that's when I saw the magazine cover with the two little kids that looked a lot like Mark with the they're so cute. Oh my God, they're babies. They're cute. I love babies. I really love babies. Babies are cute. I love babies. Oh my gosh, I love babies. It reminds me how much Natalie just adored her sister Kate. Yeah, she adored her. Oh, she was such a doting big sister she is a good big sister with Noah, which really surprised the shit out of me. She went from Malaki, ha to this, this sister that was making sure he was okay and what. She was a good guest. I surprised the hell out of me. I'm like, is that my daughter? It's not my daughter. Aliens came and took her away and replaced her with. She had moments with Emily where she got a little shitty when Emily got older, and Emily was real sweet. And then I would always tell her, you do know that you've learned to be sweeter by having this sweet little sister. Okay, so don't let that jealousy that your mom was taught affect how your relationship with your Emily, right? Because she's a sweetheart, and she's taught you in many ways to be sweeter. And, it's neat when someone younger than us can teach us lessons. My dad said that. He said, we have kids, so we never stop learning. That's the way he saw it. That you always... my thing is we have kids so we can always be sharing and always be loving and always see things from a perspective greater than just ourselves. And that we have kids, and then we also have wives and have kids together. That's why I got so pissed at Kay when she did that stuff. Your dad had your dad all to yourself for 9 years, and now he expects you to share him with another woman and another child. Yeah, I expect him to get married and have children and not to be a selfish little fucking cow. Yes, I totally expect that from my son. I will accept nothing less. I expect my sons and my daughters not to be selfish cows and to share themselves lovingly with a spouse and children, and not have the spouse and children be catered to their every whim because if mama ain't happy or daddy ain't happy, nobody's happy. I expect them to be kind, loving, understanding, patient, caring. Tell them I love them and it'll be all right, right? Tell them be all right. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I'm tough. I feel crappy, but I think that's just a big bunch of hate from sociopaths on both sides of the political fence wishing me dead, because they want to fight over Rockefeller money instead of stand up for me and Jesus. And me, I ain't having none of that bullshit. I ain't never none of that bullshit. I'm not going to give them anything. Okay, anything. I'm not going to give them credit for anything that they didn't earn. Okay? You want heaven on earth, you're going to have to stand up for the Lord's Prayer right now, you rotten little fucking sinner. Okay? And if you can't do that, let them all pass all their dirty remarks. There is one question I'd really love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinner who has hurt all humankind just to try to hold on to their selfishness, which they perceive as a belief? If it's not factual and not based on the facts of your life, my life's not based off of opinion, it's based off facts. Okay? So live the facts of love, not the opinions of your selfishness. Okay? Peace out.